Audience, the Hour Percent. I'm Emily, and today I just read in the G2000 a well of Attel, and in make of this motion, this house will protect the rights as well as an environment. So let's start with hook. Have you ever looked at like two birds or frogs and flowers and thought they were beautiful? But think about it again. But have you ever think that some of them was actually endangered? To find that completely true. This is one of the experiments that we found the first time that the groups of whales of Gulf of Mexico, but they are increasingly endangered, and we try the best for keeping them alive. As me, the first speaker for affirmative, we completely agree with this motion. And first, we will start with defining. As we start with defining, we mostly define out what is a rice well. A rice well is more mentally, and normally a water well is to understand what a well is, right? And how it's done. It was mostly almost likely to be the rice well, but as conducted in DNA tests when they do the experiment, these rice wells and the rice wells are completely different because they found out a skull has a different structure to the rice well actually. To start with framing, to clarify, we believe that we're not just saying the rice well is mentally and normally important or neglecting the other industry or human activities, but we're saying that we should also protect them as the way they help us in the community or how the environment are crucially endangered. As we have the info side in front of us as a start, we understand how the rice well are important and how any animals. We are only saying the rice wells and not any other well. You might say that even though you might say that rice wells are super new and normal and we don't even need it now, so think of other wells. Have you ever neglected them before? Well, temporarily, yes, and you don't really understand how very important it was coming to us and the environment. Our model here will protect the rice bowls and the environment by importance and safeness. We also tried the counter argument that just how we can make a safety for all these bowls. Let's start with our most important argument of here now is the cause of a whale's death. Well, we're trying to make spirit a cause and how it was died to make you understand. As we as affirmative, you may say the industry is so important and so believable. But think about it again. What do we start with a world like this? We start with plants, we start with bacteria, these are animals, right? We start with brain cells and life. But when we go into the human way, we begin to develop ideas which is crucially very important, but have been dangerous to the environmental life. I will show you how this was so bad, the effect of the rice wells. We'll try only protect the rice well itself. I will also understand how it was the oil industry is important, but we also understand what this motion means. I just understand when you read the classification of the rice wells and the environment. You see, when we started with the rice wells, it was saying that this was a protector. And the protector here and for the rice wells is actually the U.S. Endangered Species Act and the Marine Mammal Protection Act. This was really endangered. I was first starting into the book. They're trying their best, but people are still endangered. At the most Gulf of Mexico, you see, it was a very busy place. It was full of cargo ships, passed through many of them in a month or a year. They including in oil tanks with fishing boats all over the place. But the mentally who caused here, and also which caused these things to die, we're going to show you, is mostly, you understand that often any wells we dwell and also try to hunt in the deepest of the ocean in the day. But when it was in the night, it was temporarily closed up there of the rest of the ocean and will rest there. But it was even make us more susceptible to being struck by the vessel itself. This vessel is mostly included in both and is often struck to make a scar on it. And also we have the energy industry. It was a very welfare of the wells, but as they have many like gas and oil themselves. We tried to test this gas and oil in the seawater, but this actually had a huge impact. Well, it was very loud when you try the testing. And these wells can't communicate and have mates and also be friends to each other. And they cannot find food. These can make the population even more declined. There's a last thing that we're very worried about. It's about the oils and drills that was making all this devastated in our human lives and also the animals' life forever in the most years. We're showing how the industry and others have making huge damage to ours. It wasn't like, well, the whales would live in their own and simple peace, while humans are raging, and they need to understand about ethics, how they are important to life, how which is right or wrong to do something. As humans, we lose choosing a bit of the too much path, a bit too and less ethics to our human lives. We also just try to think of ourselves. Well, some of us were not truly knowledgeable about different things about how animals were truly endangered and they need our help to do something else. It's not like we on the street and we're the biggest thing in our I only send them to die without us. It's not like we're the best and we need no food. But we need to understand the ethics of how this important life. We show how this industry and how these action of ours that impact on these whales' lives. Let's move on to our counter argument, which is not too important, which will show you how we can save some of them. This only applies to the people, but they can try to do it. Most of us we will try the best to make a distant part of Gulf for only these wells only, because there's under 100 wells only left, about 33 of them. They have to last survey the water each time. And they will use spread and the speed of the boats will be less denser. We will also try to modify the fishing methods. These include the awareness and activeness of ours trying the best to do the ethics for all these wells. So we'll start with Irene. On our team, we'll try our best to save the environment and all the implemented animals that was endangered, which as in this motion will truly crucially on these rice wells. But on the other hand, the other team will just try the best as how the industry and how importance of the human cause, even though important why it kind of drastic ways to the animals in the depths of the ocean. So that's why we win for today's debate. We'll show you how important all these are and how human knowledgeable things are a bit hard and how impacted and affecting these are. Thank you for listening.